Welcome back to Start Coding with MK. At the end of this video, we will have written HTML and CSS codes to enable us have our web page GUI in the form of a grid layout. The grid layout is often compared to the table layout because they are both structured using rows and columns. We will use the div element to create containers that will hold 6 different children div. We will then define class attributes using CSS style tag, which we will assign to the div elements. We will use the style element to write inline CSS code in the head section of our HTML page. To create our CSS code, we will define CSS properties for our body element and define 3 class attributes as follows: body, container, and row 1. The body element will have the following CSS properties. Font family, we will set it to Arial and have a fallback of any sans serif fonts. Background color, we'll set it to this gray. Display, we will set it to flex so that it can be flexible. Justify content, we will set it to center. Align items, we will set it to center. Height, we will set it to 100% of available viewpoint height. Margin, we will set it to 0. We will need to differentiate between element selector and class selectors at this point. An element selector is not preceded by a period. It assigns CSS styling to the element without requiring any assignment. A class selector, on the other side, is preceded by a period. It must be assigned to an element for it to be applied. That is why the body element is not preceded by a period, while the rest will be preceded by a period. So we will create the class. We will create the class attribute called container, which will style the container div. Let us outline a number of properties that will be inside the container class. Display will be set to grid. Grid template columns will be set to repeat, and it will be divided into 3 columns, each at a third of the available viewport width. Grid template row will be set to repeat at 4, each at a quarter of the available viewport height. Gap will be set to 5 pixels. Width of the container will be set to 100% of available viewport. Height will be set to 100% of available viewport height. Background color will be set to white. Padding will be set to 20. Remember, padding is the area between the extreme corner. It's like margins. Box shadow, which is a property of a grid property. It is inherited from the grid display property. Will be 0, 4 pixel, 8 pixels, RGBA 000/0.1. Box sizing, again another grid property. Grid property will be border box. Let us now create containers, a class to define the container properties for the div that is inside the parent div. We will create the background color to this orange that you see, that is called Caro. We will set the color to blue. That is, anything inside the div will be by default will be blue. Display will be set to flexi. Justify content will be center. Align items will be center. Padding will be 10 pixels. Border radius will be 5 pixels. Remember, border radius is the one that gives it a round shape at the corner. Font size will be 1.2 EM points. Or let us now create the row one class to help us override the 3-column grid defined in the container class. This will be applied in our first and third rows. And the row one, the only property we are going to define there, which will counter the original definition in the container class, will be the grid column count, which will be 1 all over minus 1. Let us now go ahead and apply these attributes, all these classes, to the HTML div and see the output. Take note of the changes I've made on the column gap property in the container class. I have changed it to gap, which is rendered by all browsers. Using HTML div elements and grid layout, we have created a structured HTML page that we can use to hold different multimedia content. Next, we will look at how to use CSS media queries to define how the grid layout adapts to various screen sizes in what is called responsive design.